tribal roots. Now, most people think, okay, well, my tribe was different because I'm this race, this skin color, this ethnicity, so I should just worry about my tribal roots and not see the connection between all tribes. But the truth is that the connection between all tribes is the connection within all humans. What do I mean by this? Now, all tribes have this innate ability to connect to where we came from, whether you call it genetics, whether you call it spiritual ancestors, the spirits that still exist in the spirit realm, or the spirits that exist here in us, being influenced by this, by spirits wherever you think that they are located, or if they exist right here with us. What is common is the human soul. Now, the human soul is different from ancestral spirits. Spirits are associated with souls, but they are not the soul that exists in a constant progression along generations and generations. And I see that even if certain groups of people don't mix, even if they have different tribal ancestors, there is that same camaraderie between the spirits of the people who seek to find them. Now, the spirits of different peoples, these spirits, they don't see us as being different because of our skin color. They don't affiliate with us because we're necessarily we have a certain culture or we have a certain ethnicity. It's about bloodline, and the truth is all human bloodline comes back to the same source. All human bloodlines are very intimately related, and to think that there are different races, I've used the word race, but really race is a lie. We're not even different as different breeds of dog. To use the word race to apply it to oneself and say, okay, this is my race, I'm going to defend it, forget everybody else's race, I'm going to look out for my own, that is a source of conflict that we've seen throughout the ages. Now, just because we have and appreciate the spirits of our tribal ancestors, that doesn't mean we have to make the same mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes. Let's boil it down to very simple things like all the conflicts that happen between the tribes formed different nations over time, and those nations warred, and different spiritual beliefs that formed over time that weren't understood as just being a part of the whole, but as the only right way, caused much conflict as well. So when we look back at our ancestors, we have to realize the mistakes that they made, and we have to move forward with an understanding that these mistakes shouldn't happen again. Humanity as a whole can learn to be one, can learn to be united, and can learn to appreciate all of our ancestors without hating people with different ancestors. And like I said, it all goes back to the same one source, whatever you believe that source is. All human blood goes back to the same source. We're all related. We fight over the simplest of things. We fight over skin color, religion. We fight over spirituality. We fight over nationality. And nationality is often seen as tribal, and a lot of the time it is, but nationality is actually, I think it's worse than a tribal system. Nationality, believing in the state, and that being as your main motivator for all the actions that you do, I think that is dangerous in the sense that you aren't concerned about something spiritual if you're mainly devoted to the state. You're more concerned with the victory of your nation, the dominance of your nation. Now, if you're concerned with the dominance of your nation and you have no spiritual connection to forces that could influence you to look within, and you just are focused on this world and concerned with the success of your nation, that will lead to conflicts like we had in World War II with Japanese imperialism and Nazi Germany. Now, those two examples are like the height of nationality in the sense that of national evil, national interest over everything else. And I think that eventually anybody who takes that route of just viewing their nation as the one that they should fight for their own dominance will fall like the Nazis and the Japanese fell, Imperial Japan and Nazi Germany, not Japan and Germany now, but back then in World War II. And what caused it was the extreme isolation of who they would accept into their ranks, how they viewed other people as being inferior, viewing their supremacy as their destiny, and they influenced their soldiers and their even their business leaders to work towards a destiny of racial supremacy over everyone in their areas. Japanese Asiatic areas and Nazi Germany, European areas. And this is basically a strategy of war that tribes never really had seen thousands of years ago. This stage of war is hyper tribalism, to the point that you only believe that your people can achieve prosperity, and that you are more human than other people. And we have to shy away from that. We can't view other people just because they have different ancestors as being less of a human being. We can't view their ideals as being lesser just because they're in a different culture. We have to try to understand other people, and as long as they don't hurt us, as long as they don't attack us, and you could say us, our tribe, our nation, even if you want to go that far, then our tribe, I'm referring to like basically family, friends, then we should let them be. And total war wasn't invented by tribal people. Total war is just an all-out slaughter of another tribe, and that didn't happen until much later. Most tribal cultures, they might rape, pillage, and steal people's flocks, or go after the bison that a certain tribe was going after. But total extermination didn't happen really until the gun, rifling, gunpowder kind of entered the European scene. But that's when it started. And then kind of during industrialization, the early 1900s, that's when industrialized warfare began, in my opinion. And so did national ideas. So the ability to national supremacy ideas. So the ability to destroy was shortly accompanied by the desire to destroy. So we have to work towards understanding where we come from, while not rejecting other people's origin. We're all related ultimately, but in the nearer future. And we have to find that place within ourselves that is a strength connected to the land, like our tribal ancestors valued so much. Connected to the land, to the spirit of the land whites, if you will, the animals of the land, and the very life essence that fills our bodies is connected to everything else. It is not isolated. So we should value our tribal ancestry, whatever tribe that your ancestors were a part of. That doesn't really matter. We should value where we were and how far we've come, but never go to the point of not only looking down on other tribes or not other people, but definitely not viewing them as something that needs to be dominated for the sake of our own nation. So thank you very much for watching. This has been a little bit of a rant on kind of why it's important to remember our tribal roots. And our tribal roots go far back, but we shouldn't look down on other people's tribes because we have certain tribal roots. But thank you very much for watching. Feel free to shoot me some comments down there in the comment section, and I will see you in the future.